having a secure area to communicate and upload docs vital right now because as you guys all know, the private money space is highly unregulated space right now as it stands. But as time progresses, states are going to start legislating some sort of security protocols for private money brokers. It's just going to happen eventually. So this is a really good way just to get ahead of the curve is having this kind of private portal where you can send messages to the borrower, upload docs, and be compliant as those things come down the line. So sorry for interrupting, but I just want to kind of
No.
highlight a few major points that you guys all need to be thinking about as your brokerage grows, having this standardized process, even for your new hires, so they know what to do. What's up, guys? John New for New Finance here. And today I have a very special demo for you. It's with a company called Lending Automator. As you guys know, running commercial and private money loan brokerage can be very stressful and very complicated when it comes to communications, document collection, application collection, and lender placement. So there are all these operational aspects of running a brokerage that can just get very, very overwhelming, especially for someone who's just starting their brokerage or even someone who's been in it for 10 years and they're still using Excel documents. So today, Lending Automator is going to demo for us exactly what they do and what they've done to solve this organizational crisis that most private money loan brokers face. So I really am excited for you guys to watch this. There's a special promotion at the very end of today's demo. So make sure to watch to the very end and you'll get that promotion. And I really hope you guys enjoy. We use Lending Automator for our brokerage. A lot of our new finance brokers use Lending Automator. And whether you decide to go with them or not, I think today's video will be worthwhile watching. Enjoy.
So yeah, let me start it off and I'll give you guys just a little bit of background about the company and how we got started. So I actually used to operate as a mortgage broker in the private money, hard money space. And I did that for a number of years and really struggled. Because as you guys know, right, like, well, some of you more than others, depending on how long you've been in the industry, but the industry is really fragmented. It's really unregulated. It's antiquated in a lot of ways, and every lender does things differently. And so, I struggled to close my loans because I couldn't find the right lender or I couldn't understand all the lender's intricate requirements, and those were slowing me down. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so I looked at some of the other products in the industry, and they were all like lender focused. Nobody was making broker focused software. And so I said, there's an opportunity here. Like, I want to build this for myself because I need it, but I know I could solve this problem for a lot of other people too. So what I did was I started Lending Automator a couple of years ago, and with that goal in mind. And so, what we call it, I mean, I don't know, everybody sort of like calls it something different. And we honestly, as a company, we haven't really like settled on something, but you might call it a CRM, you might call it a loan origination system, you might call it,
A
a
marketplace.
point of sale, you might call it an operating system for private money brokers, right? It's what we're basically doing is giving you the tool set that you need to be able to run your business efficiently. And so with that in mind, like what we've done is we built something that does like a handful of very simple things in a very sophisticated but easy to use way. So, I'll just give you like the quick high level overview here, and then we'll have Parker show you kind of how it all works. So the basic idea is, we want you to be able to do everything from the time starting with accepting an application online all the way until the time you close the loan. And we want to try to automate as much of that process for you as possible. So that starts with first accepting applications online. So we give you a hosted web page that you can use to accept applications or a plugin that you can put on your own website. But the idea is to be able to get your applications into the system, whether it's you or your clients doing it, so that they get in there digitally and then you can manage everything. So it starts with that. After that, then we take that initial application data that you submit and we use it to match against various lenders. So we can show you which lenders, sorry, I was getting a little chatters. I think somebody's
Sorry about that. Sorry
in the
about that.
background.
If you guys are just coming into the meeting, please make sure you're muting yourself. I can do my best to keep you muted, but unfortunately, I can't lock it. But yeah, Steve, keep on going, brother. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. No, no problem. Thanks, John. So, Yeah, so anyway, so we help you get the applications done online, and then we use that application data and we run it through an algorithm that's programmed in with all the different lenders' underwriting requirements. And we compare the two, and then we can show you which lenders are a good fit for your loan. And then we allow you to get quote requests from those lenders with a single click. So it's very simple, very easy to find the right lenders and then get quotes from them. And then ultimately, once you find a lender that you want to move forward with, we help you process that loan according to each lender's specifications. So we help you collect the docs that they need. We help you e-sign their docs. We help you kind of work with their workflows, but all in one place. So it makes the system really, it's very easy for you and your clients, regardless of which lender you want to use, because their experience with you as the broker is always going to be the same, right? They're working through your platform, submitting the docs to you, and then you're working with the lender to get the lender what they need. And then as part of that process, we're helping to automate things like, in addition to the document collection, we're automating like notifications. So every time, a new task gets assigned to an applicant or to your team, you're getting an automated notification that says, hey, you've got something new to do. Every time that task is getting completed, you're getting a notification that says, hey, so-and-so just completed this task, right? And if they're not getting it done promptly, then you can schedule automated reminders that go out at whatever schedule you want, and you can do that globally or on a per application basis. So there's a lot of granularity in there, but again, we've built it to be very simple to use at the same time. It works on any device, and the end result, really, what we're trying to get you to is to be able to close more loans and do it more easily and more quickly than you can now. And so that's kind of the idea in a nutshell, like where we came from, what we're doing, and how we think we can help you. So
Absolutely.
with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Parker, and he's going to run you through, kind of like show you how it works, kind of take us through the different pieces of the platform, and then we'll have time for questions, and we're happy to answer anything you guys want to know.
Sounds good. And thank you so much for that short description. I would call it like a kind of an all-in-one like loan origination software with a little bit of a placement, which you don't normally get from the origination softwares. And Steve, I want to thank you so much for building this software because I've worked with a lot of softwares to solve this, commercial private money lending placement problem. And, it seems like a lot of them are overkill because they're in the, residential space, which is highly regulated. And, it's just overkill in what we actually need. Like you said, a lot of them are just catered to direct lenders. And we're brokerage shops, we only need a few basic functions. And really, I think you did hit it out of the park with the basic functions that we need: an application portal, a nice way to place the loans, a good way to white label things. So, it looks making us look a little bit bigger than we actually are, which is great. So yeah, I think you really did a good job of just kind of boiling it down to exactly what we need. So for everybody who's just hopping into the meeting, once again, we are doing a demo today with one of our vendors, one of the vendors that we use at New Finance. It's the Lending Automator. So we have Steve here as well as Parker. Parker's about to get into the demo right now. Now, if you guys have any questions, please throw the questions in the chat. I'll try to bring them up to Parker while he's presenting. And at the very end, I'm going to open up to a Q&A session, so question and answer. So if you guys want to wait till the very end with your questions, you can feel free to ask them, and we'll do a live Q&A as well. One last thing, I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you guys can go to that link, and you want to do a demo for yourself, you want to talk to Parker or Steve yourself and see if it's the right solution for your business and get signed up, go ahead and click on that link. It's going to give you a 25% discount just because you're working through the New Finance community right now. So, Parker, thank you so much. Let's get to it.
Yeah, and thanks, John. I really appreciate that. Let me actually share one last slide that Steve was just one, which is
Oh, wait,
today.
Parker, we should save that for the end. That's the big surprise.
Well, now I've already started it. So how about that? We'll just wait then. Sorry about that. I just barked at it. So let me share my screen again. Just scratch that and hold your breath. Um,
You gotta build the anticipation. That was a
well, I
good
don't
way
know.
of building
I
it
just
right
like
there.
to.
There's a
I like
special
to.
surprise at the end.
That's right.
Oh
So stick
man.
around for the whole thing. You
Well,
won't be
I wasn't trying to
disappointed.
correct John, right? Because that's what I'm going to be doing, Steve. But Anyways, guys, thanks for taking the time. I will make this as high level overview, but be happy to dive into anything, you granular that you may have. So as Steve mentioned, John mentioned, Mark is a user of our software. Have the ability for your borrowers to submit applications online. It's a white labeled version of Lending Automator. It's called loanmanager.app. Every broker that works with us has their own company name. So it would say apply today with your company name, right? My demo environment says PW Capital. We give you the ability to upload logos. So everything is branded and white labeled away from Lending Automator. As Steve did mention, we have a pre-application form, which is what we use to run against the lenders in our lender matching program, their underwriting requirements. So things like the property address, right? So in Virginia, if lenders don't lend in Virginia, we're going to weight them lower than we would for the lenders that do lend in Virginia. Um, and this form is really built to serve multiple purposes. We call it dynamic. So if you're doing like a cash out refi, you would select, yes, I own this property, and it'll ask you questions about refinance. If you keep it at no, it's going to ask things about purchases. So it's very simple. It's basically one application for all types of your applications that you should be receiving or submitting. The third page, which is, just some more additional information. It's a property type, so these all look familiar, should or at least they should. Single family residential 2 to 4. Um, you enter your information, your use of funds. Like I said, since I clicked no on that last page, it will ask me, about purchasing. So I did this as a fix and flip, 12-month. And by the way, everybody, John especially, I'm just putting in this loan to show how the intake form online works, but then I'm going to show like a more complete loan application afterwards.
Sure.
So that way, the purpose of time. But anyways, a quick overview, you put the number of units, you tell the use of funds, the term, the exit strategy. It's an optional executive summary that can always be added onto once the loan's in the system. So it's not like this cannot be tweaked. The next page is, the loan amount, the purchase price. Since I did a fix and flip, it'll ask me questions for rehab, and questions for ARV. So it's like the form is very, very adaptive to how you're, filling out for whatever loan that you are working on. So let me just go ahead and put a few things here. We ask some experience questions. We call this the pre-application. People call it short application, quick app. It's just whatever you want to call it. It's just trying to get enough information to see if A, you, the broker, want to work with this borrower, and B, if you do, you have enough information to go to a lender to request an LOI or a term sheet or a quote. Does that make sense, everybody? Am I going too fast? I'm on the last page. I just wanted to.
No, it makes sense.
So this last page is more for the broker, which is you all. This contact information, so you have information to store, but credit, it's going to be verified later. It's stated, and whenever you click submit, or your borrower clicks submit, it's going to redirect them to go create an account on our loan manager app, which is our white label version of it's your applicant portal. So they're going to be able to message you and upload documents, so your borrowers don't have access to things like your lenders or internal notes or the loan details, which I'm going to show you. But two things do happen when that loan is submitted. You, the broker, receive an email saying, congratulations, you have a new loan application. Please log in to view that application. Secondly, the borrower receives an email with login instructions on how they can access the loan and then work on gathering those documents for you and moving forward with that loan.
Right. So it looks like it all starts with just an application, right? And that's what we all need when we first start talking to a borrower, right? The most frustrating thing I think for most of us brokers is, you get a borrower and they immediately start asking for rates and fees and all this. And it's like, brother, I don't know anything about your scenario. Let's get an application first. So I think it's good that you guys started with the application, and that's one of the toughest things for us because we've played with a lot of ways to take an application, like from jot form, just doing a regular form to, I mean, I send a PDF. Sometimes I just send a Word doc or some basic questions in an email. So it's good to have some sort of intake form that drops them directly into the platform and gets them setting up an account where we can start securely communicating with them about their social security cards and
Right.
uploading docs, bank statements and all that. So I'm excited that you're going to get into that. Before we get any further, I saw a few more people join. This is a reminder, you guys, we're doing a call with a LOS, one of our vendors. I would say a loan origination software, processing software all together with Mr. Steve and Parker. Parker's going through the demo right now. We just got through the application portion. So let's get into the next section. So it looks like the borrower gets a kind of an area where they can communicate with us and upload docs. That's correct, right?
You're absolutely correct.
All
And
right.
I'm going to show you what that looks like. But one thing that Steve mentioned that I haven't shown yet was, I showed how the borrower submits a loan online, like submits an application. But, you, the broker, if, sometimes, you offer that white glove service and you want to enter it for them, you can always submit one, like a request for your client. It's the same form that I just went through, and it ends up in your lending automator account. And your borrower still receives that email if you do include their email, obviously.
Hmm.
Just wanted to say,
Fantastic.
because we do have two or three ways of getting the applications in. But
Right.
anywho, this is your pipeline. This is your money maker. This is how you know what deals are, in underwriting, conditional approval, quoted, you see the loan amounts over here. If you have LOs or any staff members that you want working this file, you have the capability of assigning that user to this file, and I can show you how that works as well. But like I said in the beginning, John, everyone, I'm going to jump into a loan application that I kind of prepared for this call for the sake of time and obviously to show the full functionality. So how I got to this loan application is by clicking into this row. So once you find the loan that you're wanting to work on, you can click anywhere in this row and it'll open up this nice overview of the loan. So this is just some high level information. It's just basically, what we just submitted. So the property address, the, closing date, the revenue you're going to make, the term length, things of that nature, just deal information. The assigning the staff, John, this applies to you since you have more than one user. If you have more than one user and you want to assign one or multiple LOs, you can. Then when you click that, they're going to have ability to come in here and upload documents, message to the borrower as well, assign documents as well, if that makes
Super
sense.
useful. Yeah, because I mean, when we start our brokerages, most of us are working off of probably the greatest tool ever invented by Google, which is just Google Drive. Right? You got the Google Docs, you got the Excel, right? You got the file share. All that's super useful, but unfortunately, it's not 100% secure and it's not very professional, right? And the workflows are kind of difficult to track, right? When you're bouncing from one folder to the next, it's really easy to forget about things or put things off. So this is a fantastic tool right here where you can assign the tasks to your processor or your loan officer or even to the borrower so everybody knows what's going on the file. Extremely useful because, as you guys all know, each private lender works a little bit differently. And because everyone works a little bit differently, everyone's going to have a different process. But if you can standardize that process for your borrowers and make a repeatable process, that's going to create repeatable customers. Okay, super important to create that repeatable process. The reason why franchises exist and do so well is because the borrowers know what to expect, or excuse me, the clients know what to expect. In this case, we want to show the borrowers it's going to be the same every single time. So extremely useful to have this. And another point I want to make, Parker, to this end is having a secure area to communicate and upload docs vital right now because as you guys all know, the private money space is highly unregulated space right now as it stands. But as time progresses, states are going to start legislating some sort of security protocols for private money brokers. It's just going to happen eventually. So this is a really good way just to get ahead of the curve is having this kind of private portal where you can send messages to the borrower, upload docs, and be compliant as those things come down the line. So sorry for interrupting, but I just want to kind of
No.
highlight a few major points that you guys all need to be thinking about as your brokerage grows, having this standardized process, even for your new hires, so they know what to do. Anyways, go on, Parker. Thank you so much, brother.
No, no. You kind of gave me some good points to, tag on to what you were saying. So, as you were mentioning, each lender works in different ways, right? Some lenders don't require bank statements, or some do. Some don't need a credit report. Some just need to know your taxes, your EIN number. So, what that means is why I want to talk about that now before I go to our lender matching component is once you know what lender you're working with, so say it's RCN Capital, you would select them from this drop-down list. And what that does is two things. It makes if the lender does have specific document templates or, they don't require certain things at certain stages, like, we're in the processing assessing stage right here. And if you're in underwriting and they don't need, plans and specs, our system will intelligently filter that out because that's how we onboard our lenders. So we onboard lenders in two ways. We get their lending guidelines, such as the maximum number of units, their minimum credit score, the states they lend in, property types, etc. But we also get the required documents that they need for each loan type, you as well as like when they're document templates. So like for example, RCN Capital has a specific application form for their fix and flip. So when you collect the generic application, when you actually go in and complete the application on our system, it outputs it on RCN Capital's document template that they accept. So
Right.
that's like a huge time saver because a lot of the people I work with are, have one screen up with their application and they're filling it out and again on RCN Capitals. You don't need to do that with us. And I'll show you an example of that once I move forward in a few seconds.
Yeah. And let me add just one other thing to that, Parker. So, you know, I'm sure you guys are well aware that, a lot of the time you start going down the road with a particular lender and it looks like they can do the deal, and then something comes up and they can't do the deal. And then you have to start over with another lender, right? Our system is able to take that data that you've already entered, right? So let's say you've done the RCN application form, right? It's able to take that data and then instantly output it on the new lender's documents so that you don't have to go back in or your client doesn't have to go back in and re-enter all that data again, right? Like our system intelligently handles that. Now there might be like a little bit that you might have to still do by hand if there's some difference between the forms where there's like a small amount of new data entry, but for the most part, our system handles that automatically. So it's a big time saver, just makes it super easy for you to work with anybody you want to work with.
So So just to Steve's point, I already had prepared two applications. So originally I just had default lender selected. I didn't have RCN. This is what, it's a just generic document for the application. It's e-signed in our system, it's dated, but then I went through and selected RCN Capital as the lender, and now the V1 latest, which is the latest version of this document, was output on RCN Capital's application form. The only thing I had to do differently was just e-sign it. That's the only thing that the borrower would have to redo. So all this information transfers over to this, just like Steve said. So you're not having to go through and re-enter all that.
I have a question, Parker. So that's RCN Capital. Pretty much everybody knows who RCN is. And yeah, they only accept their application. Obviously, you have hundreds of lenders in here. Not every lender requires their own application, but I definitely see like there's got to be some issues like with getting everybody's application. Do we have the ability to upload, the lender specific application, or do we send it to your tech team and say, hey, we have this lender's only accepting this app now. Can we get this mapped? How does that work? Because I know we have hundreds of lenders in the system. How's that work, Steve?
Yeah, so generally the lender will send us the updated application forms as they have them, but they don't always. Sometimes they forget, for whatever reason. So if you notice something that's not right, then you let me know or you let Parker know. We'll pass it off to our tech team and we'll get it programmed in. And usually for stuff like that, like we're talking less than 24-hour turnaround. So we really prioritize anytime there's an update like that that's a critical update. We get that in very, very quickly.
That's fantastic. And that's huge, you guys. And they're probably you guys are probably willing to do that because it improves the user experience for everybody. So the more you guys
Exactly.
interact, the more you guys provide kind of feedback like that on lender specific issues or documents, the better it's going to get for everybody.
Yep.
So, some lenders, or excuse me, softwares will require like, hey, we want you to pay a certain amount of money for IT to map an application or whatever, right? That's been my experience. It sounds like you guys are really looking out for the user, and that just makes me, really pleased. That's a great thing to hear.
Yeah.
Let's keep going, guys.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
let me just add
Oh
one other
yeah,
thing
any
just to
questions, you guys? Please throw the questions. Sorry, Parker. Please throw the que We have a few more people have joined up since, we started. So please throw any questions in the chat, you guys. You guys are coming in muted automatically. However, towards the end, we're going to do a live Q&A session. So I'm going to unmute whoever has their hand raised, and we'll do a live Q&A session as well. But if you have any questions in between on the interim, please throw them in the chat, and I'll try to get those addressed while we're doing the presentation. All right, Parker.
Steve,
Hey,
what are you saying?
let me just add one other thing just to kind of piggyback on your comment there, John, is that we really place a high value on the feedback that we get from our user community. And it's not just for things like that are broken where, RCN's form needs to be updated, right? But it's also about new feature development. So if you look at our development roadmap and the things that we've already rolled out over the last, 18 months to 2 years, like 80% of what we build is based directly on the feedback we get from our user community. So if there's something that you're seeing that you think doesn't work quite right, or you think there's a better way to do it, or we're missing some kind of key functionality that you think can make the platform better, let us know about that because we take it really seriously and we work very hard, to keep improving the product in a way that makes sense for everyone. So, we try to be really responsive that way.
Thank you.
Yes, we do. So agreed completely. And I mean, I can firsthand say that I just got off a call with Steve before this call and gave him firsthand feedback from a user of ours. And it's already in the development queue. That we respond to that as fast as we can. And like I would say 80% is probably being lenient on as far as how much developments we do based off user feedback. It's
Sure.
basically probably 85 at this point, lowest. But anywho, I'm not going to argue about that. I do want to go through the most important parts that with the time left. Like John said, if you guys, one thing that I don't think John actually did mention, but if you don't want to do a demo, you don't have to. If you do, and you do sign up, onboarding is free. We have unlimited support calls. So, if we don't address something today, you're always, as long as you're a user, you're gonna have unlimited support calls. I mean, ask Mark. Mark calls me once a week.
Yeah.
So
Let's let's jump to a couple of the really important features because we are going to run out of time
yeah,
eventually here.
yeah. We're going to show you
Um,
the lender matching feature for right now.
Absolutely.
So lender matching is, where we give you, based on the application that you or your borrower put in, it's going to run it against, the like an algorithm and with the lender's requirements, such as the states they lend in, the loan amounts, like minimum or maximum credit scores, and it's going to give you a list of lenders who are going to be a match, and it's going to be in order from highest percentage match to, to gets down to the lower matches. So if you see someone in here that you want to request a quote from, I'm going to do it to my self, which is like a test lender in here because I don't want to spam our lenders. But you'll see there's a date and timestamp next to the lender that you're requesting a quote. But when you request a quote, it emails them and it automatically will, it takes about 4 seconds from clicking it. Then it sends an email to the lender, which I'm going to share with you. And it says, quote requested. Can you see that, or is it just showing my screen? So I need to
We
actually share the.
saw something that said quote requested.
Let me just share the right one, which is this right here. Okay, so this is the email the lender receives an email with, your company logo. And the email that says, I'm looking to get a term sheet or pricing, when this application is attached with your contact information here. And then attached is that pre or application or that quick application that we did at the beginning of the call, um, which is going to do a few things. It's going to give the lender an idea. It's going to have your company information, your logo, the property address.
Parker, we can't see the document.
Really? I,
Yeah, maybe it's on a different screen or
Yeah, it's on
something.
a different window. I think you're sharing the window.
Right.
can you see it here?
Yep, that's
Yes.
it.
This is the application that's attached. It's so when you hit that quote request, and this is all being done with like automatically by us. So the lender receives this. We do automatically take off your borrower's email and phone number because we don't want lenders, going. That's actually a broker feedback,
Yeah.
request. So we take that all off. They have an executive summary, and they're able to respond to that email, or they're able to call you and give you a LOI. say, hey, I need more information, then you guys are at least making introductions with the lender.
No, this is fantastic. If you think about all the time that you guys might be saving on drafting, what you draft an email, right? You go to your email, you draft this is what I do, okay, without this system, which works well for me. I draft an email, it's kind of a summary of the scenario. Then I email the lenders one at a time on whether or not it's a good deal. Well, the cool thing is this summarizes the deal already through the application the borrower made. So another reason why we should be getting the borrowers to get an application right away, it gets that application summarized and you can just email the lenders directly through the platform. So you don't have to worry about keeping up on your email follow-ups, right? So super useful tool. I really like this. I have a question, you guys, on a feature. Is there like a remind the lender if you don't get a response? Are we working on something like that? Because sometimes the lenders just don't respond, you know?
So two
And we can
things.
just keep sending responses, but it'd be great to see something where we can get notified when they respond or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Tracking
so
the responses.
the way it works right now is, if they don't respond, I always encourage you to tell us because I will then personally contact the lender and then because it could be a deliverability issue, it could be that, someone just is not paying attention to it. Either way, I'll investigate and find out. You're getting a copy of that email, so you will know what lenders like you have requested quotes from. You can always reply to that email, and it will actually email the lender directly from your personal email that you sign up with. So that's another way, but we are working on a way to log communication and then like a status as well. So like if you request a quote with the lender, maybe it'll say quote requested. We're kind of open to feedback before we kind of jump the gun on building that. Steve, do you want to touch up on that?
Yeah, I would just add that there's a bunch of additional functionality that we're planning for this interface that will help you, more easily log and track the lenders that you requested quotes from, the ones who have responded, the basic terms that they're offering. So you'll be able to see everything all in one interface. So maybe four or five lenders get back to you with, a quote or term sheet. You'd be able to log that information here or have it automatically logged depending on
I
our
think that would be
integration with the
huge.
lender.
I think that
Yeah,
would be
that
huge
that's
because that's our biggest gap, or, I would say the biggest frustration is just keeping track of the lenders you're talking to and whether or not, they've responded or have responded and where we're at. Oh my goodness. If you could solve that, that'd be big. This is great already, but if you could solve that, that'd be a great help. I'm looking forward to that feature.
Yeah, tons of people are. So trust me, we're working on it. Two things I do want to point out before I move on and just kind of wrap it up is we've added a way for if there's a lender that we don't have, you're able to request a lender and it goes directly to our to my like our support email to where I then contact the lender, get their guidelines, their required documents. And then
Yep.
if you work with a specific, account executive at a lender, we have this blue C, which it's in their settings. I can show anyone how to do this, but you can actually override like the info at email and then email this quote request directly to your account executive versus like the info or contact or loans at email that we have
yeah.
for a lot of these
So
lenders.
yeah, so the
Absolutely.
C is just for custom. So it means it's your own custom contact that you've added for that particular lender.
And that's what you want, you guys. Part of the new finance program, the reason why we built is because just getting a hold of someone at a private lending firm can be actually extremely difficult at times. And you really want somebody who is a vested account executive or loan rep at the firm who knows what they're talking about. So when you get a trusted account executive like we provide you in our program, you want to update their information in this system so it's going directly to that person instead of the general sales staff. And that's the purpose of this, is making sure you have your point of contact and not just some random. Just to answer Zoe's question, we have a question in the chat asking about adding lenders. Absolutely. There's a button right there to add a lender to the list. You just click request lender, put the lender's name in there, and it should just get added, right? Or is
We
this
have to
pinging
do
you
that on
guys
our
to
end,
add
but
them?
the request goes directly to us.
Okay.
Because we can add the lender, but for us to get their lending requirements, that takes a little bit of time. But once we get that, it's a pretty quick turnaround to program them in with the lender matching algorithm. but we can add them right away, basically, if depending on the time of day to where you're able to request a quote, it just wouldn't have this percentage match built in until we
Perfect.
get that information, which is obviously
Perfect.
our end goal.
Perfect.
A couple of
In the
things.
future, in the future, we also do plan to have the ability for you to add your own lenders. So if you wanted to have your own like private lenders that weren't in the system for everyone else, we plan to have that functionality as well in the future, but we're not quite there yet.
Yep.
All good.
So two last pages, context is where you can, it's like a Rolodex for the loan application. So anyone affiliated with the loan, the lender, you may be an external broker. We have the ability, we actually have co-guarantor functionality as well, which, you're able to assign tasks, like bank statements that you need to collect if you guys ever have an application where you have multiple guarantors on the loan. So we have that capability of where you're able to assign multiple documents. It'll even say assigned applicant and then assigned to co-guarantors, which they do get access to our loan manager app, which is the applicant portal, too, where they can e-sign and upload documents that you assign to
Right.
them.
And it'll send them reminders,
Yes, so
which is
reminders,
great.
notifications. So this is, applicant is your borrower, admin is you, staff is if you have additional licenses and you want your LOs or whatever you call them to be, reminded about these events right here. Reminders are going out. These, this is on an application level. They are global, which, like I said, I can show everyone in, a support call, but it's super easy to do. It's like a one-time setup. But this is if you wanted to, set your reminders to go out on the days that you want. It sends them a quick email saying, hey, these 8 tasks are overdue with your loan application. Please log in, and begin working on it. That simple.
Right. It's
So
fantastic.
I'm going to give us time to talk now for questions because there's more, I have more than enough time to actually go over more things, but I want to
Yeah.
give everyone enough time to ask
Yeah,
questions.
let's do a quick Q&A, and then I think you guys had one last thing to share with everybody to, I don't know,
Yeah.
give people a, I don't know, easier way of getting signed up with them. So with you guys. So I'm gonna open it up for questions. You guys in the Zoom software somewhere, there's a place to click raise your hand, or in the chat, you can just ping me and I'll go ahead and unmute you and you can ask a question directly to Mr. Parker or Mr. Steve. So right now, just opening it up for an open Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to quote unquote raise your hand in the system or type your message in the chat. We'll just give it a couple minutes here. Judah, Mike, Osman, Roger, any questions at all on the software, this loan origination, loan processing software for Mr. Steve or Parker?
I love it. Parker's demo was so good that it was so clear nobody has any questions.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
it does alert clients, Zoe.
All right.
So
Yeah.
we have reminders that go out, and I can share my screen with them like an email that shows you that.
Yeah, so
It,
it's part of what Parker was just showing there right at the very end, where you can set the custom schedule for the notifications and reminders. So you can pick the schedule you want to send the reminders out on, and then it will send them an email on, every day that you select on the schedule you want, and it'll show them exactly what's due, and then it will link them directly into the application, so it'll take them right where they need to go to actually complete those tasks.
All right. Mark has a question. Mark, I just let you unmute. If you want to unmute yourself, you've got freedom.
Not a question. I asked Parker plenty. So what you said I contact you weekly. I think you contact me more.
oh, I
So
usually do too.
okay, which is good. No, just wanted to give him a little testimony. I've been using Lending Automator for I don't know 6 months or so now, 4 or 5. Not sure. I didn't look it up. I call it glorified CRM. I have not used all the options. I know they're there. The biggest hurdle is to get the clients to upload the documents to it. Initially, when they get the invite email, they'll do that. Then they start emailing it, and I'm sure we're all familiar with it. I've tried different systems, like John said. I even made a jot form. Uh, but this has made me virtually paperless because I used to print out the email or one page of a document that a client sent me, put it in my notebook, and that was my CRM to remember to go back, Now I just sit here, like now I have my CR, my Lending Automator open, and I just glance at and see what I need to work on for that day.
It's
So
great.
it's a very good system. So I appreciate it.
We appreciate
Absolutely,
that,
Mark.
Mark. Hey, and
And
before
Mark's
we
the
ask
one who,
Judah's question, let me show you one thing. This is how the reminders go out. This is just one of the brokers that uses our system. So it gives you the broker's, the broker's name that your borrower has an application with, the address, and it tells them what tasks are overdue, where they can then log in. Just wanted to share that so you guys can have a visual. Sorry for the interruption.
yeah. And Judah, this is a real estate program. So most of these lenders are real estate lenders. I don't think you guys have any kind of creative business financing lenders in there. And Steve, you probably know exactly what we're talking about. A lot of our guys are business loan brokers at the end of the day, and real estate is just an aspect. But if you have any insights, feel free.
Yeah, so I can talk about this real briefly. We've had this request from a lot of users on our system who do more than just real estate. And so one of the things that we're tackling in the first half of this year, so it's not going to be this month or next month, but by the summer, we will have support for additional types of business financing. So, whether that's like SBA loans or lines of credit or merchant cash advance or like any of those kinds of things, equipment financing, we're planning to build support for a bunch more items in here, which really is not technically that difficult to do. It's, the system can already handle it from an infrastructure standpoint. It's really just adding the additional question types and document types that we need to support. So
Absolutely.
we'll have that by the summer, and I'm really excited about it because a lot of people have been asking for it.
And you guys, you can use the system for your business loans. You can put an application through, and even though there's a lot of real estate questions, you can still use a system to have them upload documents that you want them to upload, remind them about things. And you don't have to submit to the lenders that are in that system. That's just a tool to allow you to more easily submit to those lenders. So it's not like you have to use the lenders in the system, okay? You can use whoever you want. I mean, we fund some of our own loans over at New Finance, and we just use the system as a way of collecting docs. So it's not like it has to be ran through those systems. There's a question that came up and went directly to me. The question is, does it have an API capacity to add to the website? I
Yes.
can respond, or if you guys want to respond,
It
feel free.
does. I can show you an example. So it's just an iframe code snippet that we embed on your website. So I will give you an example of one where you can see it. So that intake form that we have, or whatever you want to call it, if you can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it, Parker.
So this is one of our users, at primewealthdevelopment.com. He put it underneath his apply now button. What that does is it loads our form, which is that pre-application form and then you go through it just like you normally would, but it ends up in your lending automator pipeline. Does that answer your question all the way?
And
Yeah.
that form is like embedded right on his site. It's not linking to us. It's actually embedded there. So the domain stays the same. You're not moving your user somewhere
Right.
else. It's on his site.
Yeah,
And this
mine is the
is
same way. I have mine built into the website. However, you guys, there's a way to make the custom domain where it's not that big of a deal if it jumps to a different page. Their systems, built in a way where it kind of looks the same as it would be your website. But I have the same way. You can totally API into your website. We got another question here. Hey, Mark, I'm gonna let you go ahead and unmute, and then we have one more from Zoe. And then, guys, I think we should call it.
we're going to
And
share that
I just
last thing at the end
want to
too.
recommend,
Don't forget
Parker,
that.
I don't think you mentioned this, where you could white label a link and send to your referring partners that they
I
could
did not
pass out like,
mention that. So we have a
excuse me?
referral sources, which Mark, thank you for bringing that up, which is in your settings. And if you have a referral partner that's referring a deal, you can just click add referral source. But for the sake of this, 808 funding is my referral source. We white label that link that says apply today with your company name and your logo, and you can override it with your referral sources company name and logo. You don't have to upload the logo. It's completely optional, but this would then allow you to have referral partners sending out your link, but it ends up in your lending automator pipeline.
Yeah, let me just like clarify that slightly. So what he's saying is we're giving you like you can set up as many referral partners as you want. Each one gets their own custom application URL that they can embed on their own website or use a custom application page that they link to. And all those submissions that go into their forms flow into your system,
How
right?
does it
So
track? How does it track on the I'm so sorry, Steve, for interrupting.
that's okay.
I've been on the platform. I haven't seen this referral source option yet, probably because I haven't been on any of the update calls. But yeah, where does it track that it came from that referral source, if you don't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see that right in loan details at any time. And we're working on a way to, well, there's two places. So number one, Parker, if you click in, I don't know if one of those has a referral on it or not, but you'll see it in two places. One, right here in the summary, you can see the referral source right up front.
It's
You can,
automatically put in there. If someone uses your referral sources link, it automatically pre-fills that. So you can track your referrals.
Does the referral source get to see their loans that they have in the system?
They receive an email if anyone submits it, like if you do put their email, but they don't get access to the portal to see where the status is or any of that
But
unless they're paid.
they get a notification that it's in, and then they know that they have something. It'd be
Mhm.
nice for them to be able to track it in some very, very basic dashboard.
Yeah,
But
and
that's good.
we have plans for something like that in the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's on
just
the
to see,
drawing
hey,
board as
this is
well.
your pipeline. This many people landed on your page. This many people filled it out. These are all dead. These are funded. So it's a
Exactly.
trust factor, right? It's good. Cool. Zoe, one-stop nurture. I don't think, Steve, you can answer this question if you want to look at the chat. There's a question about it being a one-stop nurture place. And so what you're talking about is more of a CRM, from my understanding, where it's like, hey, we're pinging email, newsletters, and everything and pinging them. This is more of like a processing like backbone to the business, not necessarily the front-facing portion of the business. But Steve, you can feel free to answer. This is your domain.
Yeah, that's like that whole piece that you're talking about is really like a business in itself. And
Yeah.
so, like there are a lot of products out there that do what you're asking really well already. And so we didn't really want to recreate the wheel. We were trying to do the things that no one else is doing yet that really creates the most value for you as a broker. But that said, I know that that is something that, we hear from a lot of people. I would suspect at some point we will have something like that, but it's not core to our product right now. We have some other things that we're really focused on in the near term that are really critical and vital to kind
Yeah.
of the success of your business. So we're working on those first, and then down the road, I wouldn't, I'll say we'll probably get to that. Won't
Yeah.
guarantee it, but
Yep.
I think we will.
Yep.
Steve, I
Well,
have a
I'll
quick
tell.
question for you on leads that come into the system. Do those automatically get quoted? For instance, if you're advertising and then, customers are coming to the business from Facebook, Instagram, you haven't interviewed them yet. What happens to that lead? Does it automatically get quoted, or is it going to wait in a queue for you to say, I'd like to put this out in the world?
Yeah, so they drop into your main loan grid. You'll see them. They're in a submitted status or a lead status, and then the system will automatically match them with lenders, but it doesn't do any kind of communication or outreach with those lenders until you tell it to. So you always have to review the loan first, make sure you want to communicate or get a quote from a lender, and then you have to initiate it. It doesn't do it automatically.
So you basically have a matching portion, and then it will go into a quote once you submit it for that.
That's right. It requests a quote from the lender, and then the lender, at this time, they'll get back to you, by email, or they're going to call you, or whatever method they choose to use. But you have to initiate that, and then they take action.
Okay. Secondarily, you have a number of agents that work inside your organization. How many people can get on this software at the same time, and what's the investment per person, if there is?
Yeah, yeah, great question. So, and let me share my screen. This actually dovetails nicely into the last thing that we wanted to talk about. So, thank you for that. I swear I did not set that up. That you're not a plant. So, yeah. So here's what we have. So basically, the standard discount that we offer for new finance members is 25% off for the first month, and then it's $99 a month per user after that. However, if you sign up today, we're doing a special promotion just today for doing this, the demo for y'all. we're going to give you, instead of 1 month discount, we're going to give you that 25% discount for the first 3 months if you register by midnight tonight. After that, it's still 25%, which is a very good discount. It's more than we give anyone else. No one gets better than that. But yeah, that would be so basically $75 a month for the first 3 months, and then $99 a month per user thereafter.
Does the representative have the ability to erase leads, or how is that managed through your organization?
To erase leads, like to get them out of the system?
Correct.
Yeah, so you could either just decline them or mark them on hold, and they'll sort of get removed from your loan grid. You don't have the ability to like delete them entirely, but you can decline them and then they disappear. You can always go back and find them later, but we chose not to allow complete deletion just for audit purposes.
Okay.
Yep. Fantastic. Well, Steve, I appreciate the explanation. You guys, I really appreciate the demo, Parker. Fantastic job. We have another question. We're sending the recording out for those of you who showed up late and didn't get to watch the demo. Now they do have this promotion. I'm curious, Steve, if you can extend the promotion till tomorrow for those who watch the recording, but that's up to you if they couldn't show up today. And then also, is there a pay now link? Like if they like this offer, I mean, it's only $99 a month. Plus, you got that 3-month discount. So basically, you're getting it $75 for 3 months, which is ridiculous to test out the system. Is there a pay now link? Because I think I clicked on that link. It's more of like book a demo.
I think if you click the link here, and actually I don't have my screen shared, but Parker, can you pull that up on your screen?
Yeah.
So if you go to lendingautomator.com/new finance, then there should be a button there. I think we give you the ability to schedule a demo, or you can enroll right away.
Okay.
So here's what it looks like. So if you go to the Lending Automator New Finance, you just click claim my 25% discount. And then you would click continue to subscribe, fill out your information so we can build in your company details. And then you can pay it, then you'll pay right after you fill in this
You can
information.
register. Okay, right there. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a demo, so there wasn't any confusion about getting in on the program. Well,
If you have your own CRM, I'm sorry, John, I'm interrupting you. You have your own CRM, your leads come in there. I heard you talk about APIs earlier. So can you do an API from like a business CRM to this section so you're not sending everything to this software?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it would be nice to API a little, maybe if there a Zap or something like that, where we could get, if someone fills out the application, they can at least drop into our marketing, newsletters and things like that.
So we do have the ability for you to export some of your data. So if you're getting a bunch of leads in here at any time, you can export that into a CSV and then drop it into your own system that way. So you can kind of like manually do it. But we do have plans again in the future for some API support, but it's just a matter of getting it through the development queue.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come through someday. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for the questions. Thank you, everybody else, for the questions. Thank you so much for being on this call. Everyone who's part of the New Finance community. What we do here is we try to simplify the private money commercial loan broker industry for our brokers. So we got a lot of resources there. So if you guys haven't been on the site, go to course.newfinance and you can log into the community. We're going to be posting this recording in the community. And we'll be putting, Steve and Parker's contact information so you guys can reach out, as well as the discount links as well. Any parting words for us, Steve and Parker?
Try
Now,
it
I just
out.
want to,
Use it.
yeah,
Give me a call. I will answer questions. Ask Steve. I am here. John, Mark, you should be able to speak for that. But no, we seriously do appreciate you guys thinking of us, giving us your time. Watch the demo if you didn't make it. And if you have follow-up questions, John will provide our information.
All righty.
that's it. Same here. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you having us today.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching today's demo with Lending Automator. This is just a small aspect of what we do for our brokers in the Private Money Accelerator program through New Finance. So if you want to go ahead and click the subscribe button, feel free if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching through the community, please engage, ask us some questions. Our Lending Automator reps will be on the platform so they can answer your questions as well. And feel free to reach out to me anytime you want and gain access to all the other materials that we have available for you. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.